The M in BPM is for management. It seems we sometimes forget that. We get involved in the minutiae of process documentation, of analysis methodologies, of measurement logistics, of architectures, of all the mechanics at the expense of proper management outcomes. Our intent must be to improve organisational performance. Process modelling, measurement, and all of the detailed activities are important, but only as part of effective process management. There are many things we need to do if we are to achieve and sustain effective process-based management. In this video, I'd like to discuss one thing that perhaps we should do less of, and four that we should do all the time. And I want to do that in the context of this idea here that the M in BPM stands for management. Let's define what we mean, at least what I mean, by process-based management. I think it's about the continuous management of the full set of processes, the hierarchy of processes by which we're creating, accumulating and delivering value. And we want to do that because we want to actively optimize process performance across the organisation. We want to improve the performance of the organisation. So this definition is nicely bookended with continuous management and continuous improvement. And that's important because I think both of those are necessary. They're sort of two halves, two sides of the same coin. We want to be doing continuous management so that we can choose the right processes to improve. And of course, continuous improvement is about delivering on the improvement. So we can't optimize organizational performance if we choose the wrong process to even work on. So choose the right process and then get on and make the right improvements and make sure we've made them. So this is what I mean by process-based management. Now, here's the first thing that we might want to stop, or at least do a little less of. Stop modeling, start managing. Now, I don't mean actually stop modeling. Process modeling, of course, is important and useful, and it gives us insight into how processes work. It gives us good documentation that we can use for training and just for better understanding. It's a precursor to any kind of automation that we're going to do. We'll need documentation and models for regulatory compliance, perhaps. So there's all sorts of good reasons to have models. But doing it just in case we need them is not a good reason. So the M in BPM doesn't stand for modelling. It stands for managing. Modelling is a great tool, but only if we're using it as part of an overall management plan, a process management plan. So sometimes I think our organisations get a bit too bogged down in producing process models, just in case we need them. I think we should be doing it just in time for when we need them. We need a good purpose, a good reason for modelling. So sure, don't stop modelling, but every time we're about to start creating some more process models, let's just stop and think, what's the good business reason for doing this? Is there a business case for creating this model? Is it going to be used? Is there some purpose? And if there is, that's fine. But if not, well, maybe there are other things we could be doing. So let's get on and be positive. Let's look at these four things that might be useful to do, that would be useful to do. They're not the only things, but just to focus on four key things. So the first thing I think we need to do if we're starting out on a process-based management journey is to identify the process architecture. There are many ways of doing that, many ways of capturing it, but it's all about understanding the ecosystem of processes by which we are delivering products and services and experiences to our customers and other stakeholders. And we've got to capture that, and we've got to have some good way of naming processes and capturing them and identifying their interrelationships and making that available to all sorts of people throughout the organisation who need to be involved in it. So at the start of our process management journey, first step, catch your process architecture. And then, of course, maintain it and make it an active management tool, not just a poster hanging on the wall. And then we really need to go out of our way to demonstrate what we mean by process-based management. Now, the process practitioners in the organisation, we process nerds, we know all about that. We have no doubt at all what we mean by process-based management. But most of the people in our organisation don't know. And some of them are a little worried about us. What are these guys really trying to do? So we need to demonstrate what we mean by it and what we don't mean by it. And the easiest way to do that is to pick just a few processes, one or two or three perhaps, and demonstrate it. Show what it means to capture KPIs and set targets and capture the data and make adjustments and run process improvement projects and show the benefits, show all the results, good, bad or indifferent. Show all of that and demonstrate what it is and what it isn't. Because if we're doing this in a vacuum or just expecting people to understand what we're all about, then we can't get the best out of them. We can't expect people to be enthusiastic participants if we haven't given them some reason to be enthusiastic. So we need to think about how we're going to demonstrate across the organisation what the value and the purpose and just the straight logistics of process-based management might be. And if we want them to be enthusiastic participants, then let's give them a reason for doing that. Now, the bottom line in all of our process work is, of course, the bottom line. And whatever process improvement methodology you're using, what I'm showing here is SprintPip, the one that we use and was developed by my colleagues at ES Consulting in the Arab States. It's a very agile, very modern way of doing process improvement projects, and I like it a lot. But whatever the method is that you're using, at the end of the day, we've got to be delivering proven valued business benefits. There's another whole video about PVBB. Go and have a look at that sometime. And it sets the bar pretty high. We have to be delivering not just recommendations, but changes. Far too many process improvement projects deliver a lot more PowerPoint recommendations than they do actual process change. And we can't have that. We're in the business of process management so that we can do process improvement. And if we're not delivering improvement in organisational performance, then what are we doing? So it's about delivery. The three main things about process improvement are deliver, deliver, deliver. And the delivery is an improvement, a proven improvement in organisational performance. It's a high bar, but it's the only one that we can live with. And in part to help us do that, we need to develop process management, process improvement capability across the organisation. Of course, we'll have a central support group, we'll have the experts, but that group, doesn't matter how big it is, will ultimately, if they're successful, become a bottleneck, and we can't have that. It's not what we mean to do. So we want to give everyone across the organisation the experience and the expertise to participate in the process-based management journey. Now, that doesn't mean everyone's going to go off and do lots of training. Maybe they just need some documentation. Maybe they need access to some videos. Maybe they need to participate in some process improvement projects. Not everyone needs deep expertise in every area, of course. But we do need a plan. So that capability won't develop automatically, organically. You need a plan. And if you wanted some structure for that plan, find the video that we've done about the 7 enablers of BPM, because I think they're the 7 areas in which you need to have a capability development plan. It's not complicated, not complex. We just need to think for the various cohorts in the organisation. What do they know? What don't they know? What sort of gaps do we need to close? What sort of competencies do we need to build? And how are we going to best do that? Is it face-to-face training? Is it some videos? Is it some social media channels? Whatever the appropriate channels are, we need to just create a plan and then work to it so we can build that capability so that we've got a broad base capability across the organisation so we can get the maximum benefit out of our process-based management work. So let's summarise that. Here's the most important thing. We need to remind ourselves all of the time that the M in BPM is for management, and the purpose of management is to improve performance. So our purpose in process-based management is to improve organisational performance. And not just to assert we've done it either. We've got to be able to prove that we've done that. So here are 4 things that are going to be important along that journey. Firstly, first step, find the process architecture. Define that hierarchy of processes that'll let you understand the processes and their relationships, and then you can hone in on particular processes to understand what we need to do. So, and I'm doing that in my projects, then we'll start with the organisational strategy. We'll look at the strategy and we'll find in the vision, mission, purpose statements, whatever it is, we'll find the promises we make and to the stakeholders we make it to, and then we can derive from that the highest level of processes, cross-functional processes, and then to start with we'd come down another 2 levels, so we'd end up with a 3 level of management core and supporting processes in our initial process architecture. And that's usually something between 250 and 350 processes, so it's a lot, but it's not so hard to do. So first, catch your process architecture. And then demonstrate how we're using that. What do we mean by process-based management? If we're going to evangelise the benefits of process-based management, then we need some practical demonstrations of what it is and what it's not. And then the bottom line is always the bottom line. We need to be delivering proven, valued business benefits. Benefits to the business, valued by the business, and proven with objective data about which there is no dissent. That's the test. And it's a high bar, but if we can't meet that test, then what's our process work all about? That's what we've got to be delivering. And to be able to do that and to do it across the organisation to maximise the effect we're going to get from process-based management, we need to build capability throughout the organisation. Sure, we'll have some central group who've got super capabilities, but we need everyone to be involved. As I've said many times, we don't want 5 process analysts, we want 5,000. We want everyone involved to be able to contribute. because they're the subject matter experts, by the way. They're the people who are working with these processes all day, every day. So they understand what works and what doesn't work, and they've probably got lots of good ideas about how to improve it as well. So there's the thought. The M in BPM is for management. And if we're really going to make a contribution to organisational performance through our process-based management, that's what we've got to keep in mind. The M in BPM is for management. Thanks for joining me for this Process Insight. There are lots of videos in this series. There's a new one here on this channel every week. Subscribe, etc. if you'd like to know when they become available. If you want to explore some more detail on the topic we've just been discussing, there's a presentation called Stop Modelling, Start Managing at my website. I'll leave the links below. I'd be happy to hear about other topics you'd like me to cover in these videos. Let me know in the comments or drop me an email. Thanks for sharing this time with me. If you'd like to continue the conversation, I'd love to hear from you.